And we are welcome into the lair of Sebastian Krist. Because yeah, unlike the previous boss, you need to go through an actual level before you eventually reach to him. So essentially, the boss into this episode is not harder than the previous one, but the level that leads to him is. So yeah, okay. This enforcer was riding the Broussard Express. Well, I guess it stayed underground considering the way that he handled Duke Nukem Forever and all of this, because, yeah, Duke Nukem Forever is finally coming out, but as you all know, well, it's not 3D Ring that finished the game, but instead Gearbox. But yeah, at least you gotta say that George Broussard did one nice thing for Rise of the Triad, according to the interviews that are present into the strategy guide, and that's basically making it so that lightning guards beg for mercy whenever they're about to die. And supposedly this was the reason why this game was even rated 4 into this little RZAC advisory thingy where you basically get to know how violent the game is. And well, in comparison, Doom had a rating of 3, so that makes it so that, well, it's not because of the rating that Rise of the Triad is more violent, because, well, you did see how the game looks like whenever you play in the engine-killing Gibbs mode, so yeah. Essentially, the game is still more violent anyway, because there was nowhere near as many Gibbs as, well, then splattering gore all over the place, so yep. You have to thank this game for the debauchery of other shooters around you. But essentially, having a higher rating into the RZAC advisory violence thingy basically was the huge selling point into the game, because it was the game's way to say, sure, we are less technologically advanced, but we have a whole lot more violence. And well, it did work quite enough. So we're not gonna go into this upcoming room yet because the door is time open, and basically we have to wait for the 3-minute mark in order for this room to be open. So in the meantime, we're just gonna go into this little secret area, which is a ton of fun because, as you probably guessed, there's a shit ton of baddies here. No, that's not the shit ton of baddies, but yeah, we're gonna meet about as many enforcers into the upcoming room that we are killing guys right now. Yeah, I'm not sure this makes any sense, but whatever. Yeah, just beyond this room, so we're gonna go back into the time open room because, yeah, we're gonna have a whole lot of tools which are going to help us into our journey. Yeah, 3 fire bombs, and we're gonna see one of the features that you can have into this game. Yeah, you can drop missile weapons just in case that you want to stockpile them or something like that, because eventually this door will close and there's no way to get out if it happens, so that was quite an important oversight from Mr. Hall here, who made the map. Like, pretty much every boss map into the level, or like pretty much every map into the game, because there's like 4 level designers who made single-player maps for this game, and Tom Hall did something like 90% of the maps, in comparison to other people who did something like 1 or 2 maps. Essentially, the one mapper that did more maps than pretty much everyone else was Mariana Winthrop. So yeah, we go here in order to get to this secret area, and oh my god, thank you. I just realized the irony of saying oh my god when I actually get a god mode, but this is so going to be useful, considering that this is not an easy level. Definitely not the hardest level in the episode, but it's still pretty hard, even though it's a pretty short one. At least you have got that going for. And also, you get this really awesome music which is playing into the background right now, which is basically the boss music into this game. And it's probably my favorite track of the entire game. It's called Having a Smooth. Well, we heard it into the previous episode, but I had no time to elaborate on it because the other level was so short that we stopped hearing it way before I could even get to talk about it. So at least we finally can appreciate this track, and well, you can appreciate it without any kind of my talking, well, just by going into it. Well, the thread listing in order to find all of the links to the music tracks, or, well, you can just search it on YouTube if you really want to and you're a big boy. But yeah, God mode really made my going through this level a whole lot easier because, well, the 3 fire bombs that we saw into this secret time open door earlier, well, we will need to backtrack there at all time in order to be able to Okay, at least this room really makes your life easier because, well, you don't even need to shoot anyone. Just let the fire shoot take care of the whole job. But yeah, you had to constantly backtrack in order to get the fire bombs, and the missile ammo into this level is kinda scarce at time, especially if you go into the huge enforcer-laden rooms, but at least there's a whole bunch of asbestos armor lying around into this level, so you should never be at a shortage for armor. And now that we have the gold key, it's time to finally go and fight the boss. This is his lair over here, and we're gonna be the key to his realm. Oh yeah, by the way, you can come out whenever this is done, so we're gonna have... Oh yeah, and also the boss has a shit ton better escort than the last boss had, because instead of having like 2 or 3 guys, there's a whole army here waiting for you, so you have to kill them first, while the boss is currently chasing at you into his technologically advanced wheelchair. I don't know if it is because Sebastian Krist is crippled, or if he's because he's a lazy asshole, because, well, I guess I'll go for the lazy asshole, considering that, well, the boss was played by Joe Sigler, who was basically the guy who moderated the forums at 3D Realms and who did online tech support back into the time that this game was made. Oh, and by the way, you can get out anytime you want. There's push walls that allow you to get out. So I guess it's down to you and me, Mr. Krist. So yeah, this boss is really not that much threatening in comparison to the other guy. In fact, I'm pretty sure that General Darian was harder, if only because he was a coward. But basically, his main mean of attack is to show his butt at you in order to shit out mines that are incredibly slow and easy to avoid. Oh, and he fires the usual missile every now and then. And ho-hum, another boss going down the shitter. Literally, just look at the way he dies. But at least the firework effects are pretty cool. Although, you shouldn't get that close to it, because... oh my god. That was a magnificent performance, yeah. It was so awful that it basically begs for this song to be played. You suck indeed. But hey, since we're here, might as well show another way that you can use in order to kill Sebastian Krist. Yeah, this little power up here can also be used whenever you finally opened up all of the level. If you're lucky enough to get a god mode, or abuse save states until you get one, well, guess what? You've made the boss fight even easier, because this is all that you need to do. Just find Mr. Sebastian Krist and hit him with your holy rat. It wasn't supposed to turn out like this indeed. So yeah, and already easy boss have become even easier. Not sure how this is possible, but yeah. And by the way, you absolutely need God mode because the dog cannot hurt him, and neither do bullet weapons. All bosses need missile ammo in order to be killed. So goodbye, Mr. Krist. We hardly knew ye, and you were as worthless as your superior. So here we go, we've reached the halfway point into the game. Only 2 episodes are left, but unfortunately this is where the game kinda starts derailing a little bit. Episode 3 is still as good as the other episodes, although not as much, if only because, in my opinion, I just think that there's more forgettable levels into it, and, well, the levels aren't as creative, but, well, this will be a story for another time. And by the way, before we finish this episode, we gotta take some time in order to see, well, the behind-the-scenes stuff in order to see how Sebastian Krist was born. Here's a picture of him coming. Ah! Holy shit, turn it off! Turn it off, please, for the love of God! No, this is not better! Jeez, can there be normal pictures? Okay, I guess this is slightly more normal, but oh my god, why do these people take such freaky pictures? And why would you include that with the game too? Because all of those pictures were bundled in with the game into the goodies folder that has a whole bunch of stuff. But so anyway, here's Joe Sigler posing into this little office chair that was decorated with a whole bunch of paper, glue, as well as having staplers in order to act as handles in order to move the chair around. And only an idiot will staple his own hands during this, yeah. So anyway, this is finally the end of this episode. We're gonna take another peek into the shower episode, and whenever we'll be back, we're gonna be at episode 3, Area 1, Robotrix.